Contagious by Jonah Berger. Today, what's the most targeted kind of advertising? Time we spend on Facebook is going down. Instagram is growing, but still not the most targeted. LinkedIn, really effective ads right now, but no, not the most targeted. The most targeted advertising has actually been around for a couple of centuries. It's word of mouth.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Now, word of mouth can be talking to someone or sharing over messages. Now, keep in mind though, even today, only 7% of word of mouth happens online. This is of course true in B2B, where your customers are companies. We do business with people we know. We constantly exchange contacts of vendors or subcontractors. And for most consumer products, we go by what our friends and family are using, right? So even though this book was the best marketing book back in 2014, the reasons why we share something stays the same. He's a Wharton professor, so everything he says is actually based on hardcore academic research, bunch of real statistics, but presented in a way that's so easy to relate to. STEPPS, 6 factors to predict popularity. Social currency. Does it make me look good? Think about it. What do we love sharing online? We share photos of occasions where we go out to this really exotic restaurant or bar, or even when you get some new luxury item. And you figure, how can I just include this in my next post? He talks about status, how people willingly tie themselves to certain products. Actually, a recent example I'd say is the AirPods. I lost mine a while ago, but wearing them itself has become quite a statement. It's like an easy conversation starter, you see. So social currency gets people sharing, but how do they keep doing it? He then explains the concept of a trigger and makes you want to consider in what context are people reminded of your product. Next, emotions. There's an old saying, we buy with emotion and justify with logic. Today, there's a much longer customer journey, so many different touch points, so many different outlets to consider even before someone knows exactly what you're offering. For example, people share news articles about a tax hike that could happen. Now, you could use that to get more attention if you're an attorney or run any kind of legal services or accounting firm. Bottom line, when we feel strong emotions, we want to share it. Public. What do we see people doing? Does your product advertise itself? It's a little hard to influence if your product is not seen. Were you aware that anti-drug commercials could actually increase drug use? They say 2 things at once. Drugs are bad, but a lot of people are doing them. And the more we see that, the more likely it becomes normal. Another example of how authorities can really end up achieving exactly the opposite. A few years ago, Music Association's website warned people that only 37% of music was paid for. And people thought, oh, it seemed like an idiot to pay for music. You can guess how this affected piracy. Practical value. Is it actually helpful? So for those of you who follow me online, you'll see I constantly share what I think about the latest trends in business and media that should help you see things much more clearly from both a business standpoint and as a consumer. We are seeing much more of this on social media. Make giving value upfront your #1 priority. Providing tips or information through articles, and you'll figure how to connect it to your product or service along the way. Stories. How can your product or idea be part of a larger story? See, we don't just share information, we tell stories. Remember the Will It Blend video series? Yeah, it was funny to see the iPhone shatter, it was all entertaining, cool. But the sales for the blender actually went up as the video went viral. So there you have it. 6 factors to predict popularity. Check this out. It's pretty concise to see how you could make something that people actually want to share.